Hi class, welcome back. Today we'll be reading some excerpts from the Emancipation Proclamation. Here we'll be looking at what Lincoln has written and proclaimed in 1863. And does anyone know off the top of their head what the Emancipation Proclamation did? That's right, it freed the slaves in the middle of the Civil War. However, as we'll see, the Emancipation Proclamation only freed some of the slaves in the United States and not all the slaves. The document will explain later, and I will expand upon that as we read through this. But starting off in the first paragraph, that on the first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, that is 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then in rebellion against the United States, then shall be then henceforth, that is, from now on, and forever free. And the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons or any of them in any efforts that they make for their actual freedom. Now, looking at this first paragraph, we see that this only applies to states that are in rebellion against the Union, which is the Confederate States. And we see that, as Lincoln says, any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States. So this document only is talking about slaves who happen to be in the Confederacy. That would be Virginia, Texas, Alabama, Florida, Georgia. Those states, the slaves in those states have authority by Abraham Lincoln to rebel and to come to the North. And so this is important because that means that any slaveholders that live in the Union, their slaves aren't free, which is a contradiction. But as we see here too, Lincoln is referring to including the military and naval authority thereof will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, saying that the military of the Union and its Navy will basically be the police officers, will enforce this law and help free any Southern slaves, and that they will not take advantage of them, as in do no act or acts to repress such persons. Now, thinking of how Abraham Lincoln has the authority to do this, we will then go down to paragraph 3, where it says, "Now therefore I, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, by virtue," that means has the authority to do so, "of the power in me vested as Commander-in-Chief, the Army and Navy of the United States in time of actual armed rebellion against the authority and government of the United States, and as I fit and necessary measure of war for suppressing said rebellion, due on the first day of January in the year of our Lord 1863, that being 1863, in accordance to my purpose, and do so publicly proclaimed for the full period of 180 days from the day above mentioned, order and designated as the states and parts of the states whereof the people are respectively, as of this day in rebellion against the United States, as the following to wit." And then as you see down there, he names the states that are in rebellion. Now, pausing here before we mention those states again, talking about how he has the authority to do this, that he has the authority to issue the Emancipation Proclamation because he is the President of the United States. And as President, what is one of the powers that the President has? Yes, he can veto bills, but what else? Yes, he also is the Commander-in-Chief of the military and army. Thereby, he's also issuing a military command that he's allowing for the emancipation of Southern slaves by the power of the military. And he's doing it as a measure of war against them, against the Southern states. And so now, if we jump down to the next paragraph, we see the states in which the slaves are actually free. So Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, and in those parentheses we see territories held by the North at that point: Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and then even then we see what would we consider West Virginia, in which would be a part of the Union, and except parts for the present it left presently as if proclamation were not issued. So here we see the distinction between northern territories held by the North that are in the South and have slave populations versus states that are still in rebellion and have not been taken control back by the Union. So here, basically, Abraham Lincoln making the distinction about like which slaves are free and which slaves are not, which is very important. And now with this lesson, basically making that distinction to which slaves were free and which slaves were not. This being important for our lesson, trying to get at the intention of Abraham Lincoln as someone who liberated, who abolished slavery, not by humanitarian, that is, for the good of all people, but more as a measure of war, as we have seen in this document. Anyway, thank you all. That will be it for now for class. Thank you all for tuning in, and be sure to do the homework that I've assigned for you on the document and reflect off what was spoken of here today, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.